Hey, I figured I'd give you a tour of the station since I'm down there and you're not up here. So I'm going to start with the photographer room. As you can see right here, sports anchor Carl Deffenbaugh is going over a camera.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, this is actually the camera I normally use, but he's going to be taking that with him to Kentucky for the women's NCAA tournament. This is also where we offload all of our stuff. You can see these computers right here. These are a bunch of all the footage we have. We shoot on either 2 discs. We either shoot on these big guys, that's more like what Carl normally uses, or we shoot on these tiny little things right here. Take them out. They're there. So that's how we get our stuff in. Once we're done ingesting, that's what we call getting all our footage into the system. Come over here. We go over to our desk. I'll give you a tour of the other things you can see in the station. Over there you can see Neil. Neil's producing right now. You can also show, let me show you this before you see my desk. As exciting as my desk is, and it's really exciting. This is the weather office. This is where their Doppler radar, where they use to track all our storms. If you guys are on Facebook at all, probably see us use this during big storms. Matt or Ed or Abby or Carrie will be in here talking about what you can look forward to in the day. Seeing there's a little bit of rain right now. This is my favorite. There's a bunny who's very, very excited for Easter. He should probably switch to decaf coffee, but you know what? Easter's a fun time. So this is their stuff. I don't know how any of this works, and it's really expensive equipment, and I don't want to break it, so we're not going to touch it. Neil is right over there. Like I said, he's our nighttime producer. This is where Zach sits. He's not here right now because he works days. This is our producer, where our producer Ashley sits. She's got a lot of toys and fun things. She's a big fan of Snoopy. It's really important you guys know these things. Right up here is where our web team sits. We also stand up here during live shots. So if you ever see us, say, at the live desk, this is where we stand. You have a camera right there. There's a bunch of lights that go on. I'm not going to turn them on right now because we're not using them. You'll also see these boxes. Reason we have these boxes is because if you're like me, you're a little short, and you don't want to look short on TV. So to make the illusion of being tall, you can stand on one of these. It looks like I'm tall. It's shocking. You can also hear right now a bunch of scanners. Those are police scanners and fire scanners. We listen to those, so if we hear there's a big fire or something, we can go over and see what it is. But we also have to call the fire department and say, hey, you guys going to a fire right now in South Bend? And sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no, and other times they won't answer us at all. So, I showed you what happens when we ingest the footage. What we do then is you can go over to your desk. This is my desk. This is the most important things on my desk, my White Sox pennants. It's really important you guys have that. And to check where that stuff is, you can go to this program right here on our computers. Go to locations. Well, today's Wednesday. We have a little folder here that says Wednesday. My desk is a mess right now. And so we can just make sure that our stuff is there, and it's like, is that my stuff? Yep, that's my stuff. And we can sit and listen to that and type our script. Our script goes into this program right here, which is called ENPS. So I'm not giving anything away, I don't think. You can see the stuff we have. And a cool thing about this is it actually times how long it takes to say something. So I'm going to go a goodbye shot right here. You can see it says right now our next news is tomorrow morning at 5, and we say, oh, well, that takes 4 seconds to say. So we have an idea of how long that'll take. So when we're done going through a log and writing a script, we then have to edit. And by the way, before we get our scripts approved, we submit it to this guy. This is Jim Pinkerton. He's our executive producer. This is for students at Akron Elementary next Tuesday. So, any advice you have to them?
Write clear and concise.
He's the brains behind the whole operation. So then, when we're done with our scripts, we actually put the stories together. And this is editing, and this is what you actually see on TV, but it takes a lot of work. So if you follow me. By the way, Trisha's our camera person right now. She's one of our web editors. And if you're interested in getting in television broadcasting, I'm going to tell you right now, the web is the future. So in a couple of years, I'll probably be asking Trisha for a job. Yep, there's Carl again. This room is called Main Edit. This is where it's not just reporters who do editing. We have a lot of really talented photographers and editors, and this is where they're in, and they put the show together. You can kind of see some of the graphics we have over there on that computer. But let me show you what I edit. So Billy's in there. Billy's editing something. He's one of our other photographers. So let's go into another edit bay. Heather's in there. Heather's another one of our reporters. This is the time of night where actually you would normally be editing. But we have a couple more edit bays. And in case you were wondering about these doors are soundproof. This is a video. That's Billy. This is a video for Akron Elementary. I'm going to be giving a talk down there. I'm showing him the station. There you go. That's Billy. Billy's also the brains behind the operation here too. So here we have another edit bay. Let's go into the sports office. This is Adam and Carl. This is for Akron Elementary.
Oh, hey, Akron Elementary. This is my third time. I'm going to be the star of this show besides Patrick.
Everybody loves Carl.
Nobody likes Adam.
So,
go sports.
Yeah, this is where they have a bunch of fun and they get to watch basketball. I don't know actually what they do. I think they just watch sports. Can I go into one of these edit bays?
Yeah.
All right. So let me show you some of the things we can do in here. These doors, they're really thick, and that's because they're soundproof. And they're actually normally in prisons, which is sometimes how I feel when I'm in an edit bay, that I'm in prison. So I'm going to save this project, because this is something about Notre Dame and it's important. But let me show you a bunch of some of the cool stuff we can do here. If we wanted to, and we never would, I can take some things and I can kind of make the color around. So see, I made them go all yellow. We'll just undo that. And you can do a couple things here. So I can take this and go, let's make him all kinds of different colors. I can also zoom in on him. Adam's laughing at something, which is probably me. If I want, I can make him real big, real small. But we don't want to do that because this is not my story and I don't want to mess around with it. So let me show you. So once you're done with all that, you send it to what's called the placeholder and it'll be ready to go on TV. And from there, we also have, this is where the producers sit during the show. So when the show's on, there's Rod. Rod's one of our directors.
Hello.
Producer would normally sit in here. They have all these control panels to make sure that everything's working right and the show is going the way it should. They're the ones who, kind of yell at you to make sure that everything's on time and where it should be. There have been plenty of times where I've placed things in the wrong spot and things are not done perhaps as fast as some would hope. So that's what producers do in a nutshell. You come this way. This is our green room. This is where anchors go to go put on makeup. They can make sure they look okay. I don't spend a lot of time in there. I don't wear a lot of makeup. There's only so much they can do for my face. But in here is the studio. Normally you can see, I know it's okay to walk in there because that sign says on air. That would actually be lit if we were on air right now, and we're not. So we're okay. So this is the studio. As you can see, it's a little dark because we're not lit up, we're not ready to go. There's a couple different spots in the studio where you can go, if you so choose. Obviously, you see you got a bunch of cameras up here. These cameras are all operated by they're robots. So there's no one actually who sits here and moves the cameras. They can adjust them in the control room where the producer sits. Obviously up here, this is the anchor desk. This is where Rick and Jennifer sits. I don't sit up here that often. Sometimes I sit up here, they'll ask me a question, and I get to sit down. But for the most part, I stand right here at what we call the H-Mon. There's a bunch of different things that this does. This can put our logo up there. We can have video streaming behind here. We can also pull up a map if we want to, kind of like a Google Earth thing, and show you some stuff. I'm not going to do that right now, though, because this is a real expensive and sensitive thing, and they need it for the show, and like I said, I don't want to break it. Sometimes, this is called the Update Center. You can stand up there, too. Sometimes we have video there. This is the weather desk. This is, Trisha, come over here. This is where Matt normally stands. Obviously, Matt's a bit taller, but you can see here, he can pull up a bunch of different graphics. You see that the bunnies there and the 7-day forecast. You can also see a bunch of different maps and sky cams. So during the course of a newscast, you can just kind of pull that up and show that if you want. But during the actual newscast, so like when Matt goes, saying like, let's take a look, you can see the radar here, he stands right here in front of this green screen. And it always stays green. You can see there's nothing there. That camera right there will turn towards him, and you have a little TV monitor there at the bottom, and Matt will look at that to make sure he can see what he's pointing to. And since this is green, the one thing you can't wear green with this. If you do, it'll actually blend in with the screen. So if Matt ever wore a green tie or a green shirt or a green jacket, I don't know why he wore a green jacket, maybe he won the Masters, but it would blend in with all that right there. So you would be able to see it, and that's not what they want you to be able to do. So that's the studio. There's another exit here that you can get out. Out here, we'll step outside for 1 second. You can see our big bunch of cars with WSBT on them. This big one right here is a satellite truck. We can set the antenna up and we can do live shots in the field from there. But they have new things called backpacks, so you don't need that big of a truck. But it's actually kind of cool to be in that. There was one time there was a bad storm during the winter, and they had me do live shots from the toll road in LaPorte where the McDonald's is, if you guys have ever been there. It's pretty cool because you just get to hang out in the back and drink hot chocolate while the snow starts falling. It's actually more fun than you would think it would be. And that's about all there is to the station. If you guys have any questions, obviously feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer them.